Scotland. Full details on all of that on the website stv.tv/The Hour.
Okay, now remember that great TV show Press Gang, where the kids ran their own newspaper? Well, this week the idea became a reality.
The Big Issue has just launched a special edition created by teenagers from right across Scotland. It's called The Wee Issue, and we've got 3 of the young journalists with us today, as well as the editor. Thanks very much indeed for coming in. Let's start with you, Paul, on the end. Where did the idea for this come from?
Well, we had been working for some time on an idea of getting an edition of The Big Issue produced by Scottish school kids, and it kind of went from there. We met with the Big Lottery Fund. They'd been looking at similar ideas, and we decided to see if we could get an edition of the magazine that every single Scottish secondary school kid would see, and through the schools, and it just took off from there.
Were you a bit concerned as well that maybe that they weren't aware enough about homeless issues in schools? Was that part of it?
Well, that was certainly part of it. We had found that, and also I guess they weren't aware of the Big Issue and what the Big Issue was doing and how it was addressing elements of homelessness and what happens to those who find themselves homeless.
Well, 3 of the young ladies who contributed towards The Wee Issue are here. Girls, thanks for joining us. You must have been the envy of all your friends, and B, you are in such a great position because you guys know better than anyone what teenagers want to know.
Yeah.
So you found that quite useful when you were interviewing?
Absolutely.
Well, April, you did, because you got to interview Paolo Nutini, which, by the way, I wouldn't even be able to tell my wee sister because she's so in love with him. What was that like? Were you already a big fan?
Absolutely, I was a big fan. I had all his songs in the house and just loved everything about him, really.
So did you suggest getting to meet Paolo, or was that put to you?
We all put our ideas of who we wanted to interview into like a big brainstorm, and then we just worked our way down and see who we could get contacts with, and luckily enough we got Paolo Nutini.
I need to ask you, April, what do you feel that you got out of your interview that perhaps maybe a grown-up music journalist wouldn't have got out of Paolo?
I think because he's still quite young and he's living back in his hometown Paisley, and that's where I'm from as well, there was a lot that we could talk about that we had in common because we'd both grown up there, we both went to school there, so it was good to chat to him about it.
Yeah, it's a great interview. You made the cover with it as well as the cover story. Ashwini, you got to interview our Education Minister, Mike Russell, and you managed to kipper him up nicely. Tell us what happened with that.
Yeah, we gave him some questions from intermediate 2 papers, and he failed miserably. He couldn't answer any of them.
He couldn't answer one?
Nope. Yeah, it was a really good experience interviewing him because I have had the opportunity to speak informally to MSPs on school trips, but this was the first time I'd actually formally interviewed a member of Scottish Parliament, so it was very exciting, but it was quite nerve-wracking as well.
Especially, I mean, children just get, you know, very little access to ministers and MSPs at that level, so that was a great opportunity for you.
Yeah, definitely. I think the whole project is a really good opportunity for young people to get an insight into journalism, and I'd really like to thank Paul and the team for giving us such a great opportunity and facilitating this project and making it enjoyable as well as really useful and educational.
Oh, fantastic. And Rachel, last but not least, you had such a difficult job because you were doing the SECC. It holds thousands upon thousands of fans, and you were to interview a rock band just before they went on stage. It was Paddington, wasn't it? How did you manage to grab their attention before they went on stage?
At first when we went in to meet them, they seemed a bit, like tired and exhausted just in turn and everything, but once we got chatting to them, they were really friendly and really nice, and we were talking about things like Scotland and bagpipes, so it's quite a funny interview.
And did they enjoy the one thing we always ask bands when we come on the show is what they think of the Scottish audience. What was their view on it?
Yeah, they were really, they said that the audiences in Scotland were really good, and they said that it was one of their favourite places to play, so we're really
What was it
chuffed
like
about
being backstage? I don't get backstage very often, I'm hitting this everyone watching. What was it like to go backstage?
It was brilliant. We just walked right up to the front of the queue, and they took us backstage, and everyone standing in the queue
Was everyone totally staring?
glaring at us. We were like, it's brilliant.
All 3 of you got great assignments, but if you were to do this again, say budget was no issue for this, who would you like to interview? Who would be your kind of dream interview?
I think I would love to interview Miley Cyrus.
Really? I love Miley.
I would love to meet her.
What about you, April?
I think the Arctic Monkeys would be fantastic to interview. Alex Turner especially.
Okay, that's for you.
I'd love to interview Till Lochner and ask him about working on the Twilight set.
Wow, yeah. Or maybe just look at Taylor, to be fair.
What have you learned from the experience, all 3 of you?
It's been really good just seeing how journalism works, behind the scenes, because there's not been many opportunities for young people to see how it works and everything, so it was just a really good experience.
Well, you did a fabulous job. It looks great. Paul, I know this is the first. Is this the first of many, hopefully, but the reissue?
I'd like to think so. If we can develop the idea, take it. Obviously, we're trying it in Scotland first, trialing it with all Scottish secondary school kids, and if we can then develop that, get the backing and get the funding to take the reissue further into England, into Wales, and so on. I'd definitely like to look at that for next year.
What do you think about the job the three girls did?
They're fantastic. They were absolutely fearless.
Would you hire them?
Without a shadow of doubt, yes, immediately. They got some of the scripts that you mentioned, the Mike Russell and Paul and Teenage. Some of the lines that they got out of them are things that any editor would be happy to put on any magazine or newspaper cover. They were really, really excellent, well prepared, and well presented when they came back with a copy.
Well, here's a question, it's a genuine question. Do you feel you and your team perhaps learned a wee bit from the kids and what they're looking to get out of interviews?
Well, I certainly think so. I certainly think we know a little more of the mind of teenagers and also of teenage time, in that whenever we tried to maybe say this should be in now, we'd have to leave about 2 weeks just to make sure that it came in that time. But we all, it's good because you want to know what your readers want, and this is an element of our readers that we don't necessarily always speak to, and so they're telling us very clearly what they want.
Paul, where can people get hold of the reissue?
Well, all secondary school pupils in Scotland will get it. If it hasn't been delivered to their school by now, it certainly will by Monday. And if they haven't got a copy, they have to go to their headmaster, their headmistress.
And demand
they demand their copy of the magazine and then take it home and enjoy it.
Great.
Paul, well done. It's a really wonderful thing. Girls, congratulations. I'm sure you've got a bright future here in journalism. Thanks to you all.
Paul, thanks very much indeed. Right, still to come on the air tonight, Scotland's one-man music